and eventually made it back out to my plot of land in Portugal, minus my car. Did have a breakdown on the way. Fortunately, a new friend drove me the 500 kilometers to pick up my caravan and tow it back to the land, which included my strimmer, which I needed to cut the grass. I did turn up with my British strimmer with the 3mm strings on it, but for this grass they're not actually very good. I was going through the nylon cord faster than a packet of jelly babies in my girlfriend's car. And my grass is about as high as it's going to get, but with the summer here now, it's drying out very quickly and it's a major fire risk in the area. We're not too bad here. Very sparse trees, very well placed, wide apart. This type of grass, if it's not cut, lets the flames get up into the branches of trees. In more sort of wooded areas, that can really take off and do a lot of damage and cause a massive fire. So the Camara sets the date, and I've got 1 week left to get my grass totally cut. I started off with my basic strimmer head with the 3mm cord, which I brought with me from the UK, and it's pretty much useless against the grass here. I've done a bit, and I'm going through the cord very quickly. So I was in a hardware store and I found this. It's what the Portuguese use. So as well as having 3 strings attached, it's thicker string. The string that came with it is 3, I think. Gives you a couple of bits. But I went and bought the 5mm square, I'm just going to call it string, but you just thread it in through and it lasts a lot longer against the thick grass and the dry sort of brambles and things. It's very easy to change. Just take off your normal head, just put the new one on top, and it secures in with a bolt. The head itself, it has 3 holes through it, which gives you 6 strands of nylon coming out. Ideally you want a really good powerful strimmer for this, because the more strings you have coming out, the more pressure it puts on the strimmer. You can just use 2 or 6. I don't recommend using 4 because you leave your strimmer unbalanced, so it's either 6 or 2. You can actually buy a 4 or a 2, but they both take the thicker cord, which is great. You just unscrew the grub screws and you can just see where it opens up, and just pop your cord through that. And balance it up nicely so you've got the same size on both sides. It's quite hard being your own cameraman when you're trying to do this and use your hands. I love the sound of the sheep in the local area. Usually it's more towards evening when they're going towards their night pens, but I've started using their bell sounds as like a backing track on my videos, because I have absolutely no taste in music. I'll just tighten up the grub screws. The kit comes with a couple of different washers for different size spindles, but just add the locking nut onto it and tighten down your base. Pretty similar to most trimmers. You usually stick a little pin or something inside to stop the head turning while you're turning the nut. And remember that the nut actually turns anti-clockwise to tighten, so it's lefty tighty instead of lefty loosey. That's because when the head spins, the nut actually spins in the direction of tightening rather than coming loose. You don't want to put it on too tight, just sort of finger tight, don't overdo it. Make sure it's nice and secure. And then the same with the headpiece. It's the same again, it turns anti-clockwise to tighten. But I always tend to go clockwise until I feel the threads click into place before I try turning anti-clockwise. Just like to make sure the threads are seated first. And if you turn clockwise right away and miss a thread, you can actually strip the thread. Same with any nuts and bolts. I always turn them the opposite direction first until I feel the threads click into place, and then go the opposite direction. Same again, just put it on hand tight. It will lock into place as the strimmer runs. And there we go. Ideally you want a good top of the range strimmer that has the torque to actually spin the 6 heavy duty cords. But I'll persevere with it. I did opt to go for the 5mm nylon instead of the 3 that came with. It's actually square, so if you put it in slightly at an angle and tighten it on the corners, it means when it spins, it's spinning with a corner going first to an edge rather than a flat edge hitting the grass. But instead of 2 bits of nylon hitting the grass, you've got 6. Snip them off to the right size, and if you do need to replace one, you can just loosen the grub screw, slide a new one in, and that's it. This is my strimmer. I don't like the strimmers that sort of sit over one shoulder, so I got myself a backpack strimmer. It means you're not carrying the weight of the strimmer on one shoulder or in your arms. All you're holding the weight of is just the pole and the strimmer head. Now, I've done quite a bit of cutting with it, and you can see that it's the same nylon that I put on. There's a little bit of wear on it that's not actually snapped off. I've already cut the grass. I did save my video to a small hard drive and accidentally left it sitting in the sun. So when I went back later to get the footage, it was totally corrupted. So drone footage is out and some of my camera footage is out. I'm just going to clear a little bit around the well. I'm just going to take out some of the brambles. I did put a fence around it to stop any of the sheep getting into the well and possibly falling down. There is a light cover over it. It needs to be properly covered, I know. That's something I've got to work on, or get a wall round it and open that well up again. So it's got grapevines growing out of it and brambles. I just want to take the brambles out. I'm going to leave the grapevines there because the cats like to use that as a little shady spot. It's under the tree, and it seems to be little cat's favourite spot. It did take me all of 5 days to cut my half an acre, mainly because without the car I only have one jerry can for 5 litres of petrol, so every time I used that I had to walk up to the village half an hour and half an hour back to a small repair shop up in the village for pumps and lawnmowers and strimmers, and he actually sells the fuel ready mixed, so I don't have to mess around mixing it up. So, one last little bit to do. I'm just going to take some of the brambles out from around the well. The strimmer starts very, very easily. I've never had a problem with it. And once it's on your back, it does actually look a little uncomfortable if I haven't adjusted the straps, but it is actually quite comfortable to wear, and you don't feel the weight as much. Well, I don't, as much as I would be if I was using a sort of over-the-shoulder type strimmer or just a handheld. So it's quite comfortable to use. It's got quite a few attachments. It comes with the hedge strimmer, a couple of blades, which you can't use at this time of the year. Even comes with a chainsaw attachments for taking branches out of the trees. Good little strimmer. I've had it about 3 or 4 years. Came from an Irish company. Delivered next day. It works through the brambles quite easily, unless they're really, really thick and dry. But later on I'll try and clear out the brambles properly with using the blade. And when I do come to work on that well, the grapevines, they're going to have to go, so that I've actually got room to work. You can see that it did actually do a good job of the grass. I've got half an acre. Probably could have done it in a day if I'd had the fuel resources on hand, or even a car to go and get fuel, and just kept going at it. I'm not using the cut grass to feed any livestock, so just let it lie where it falls. You don't want to be putting it into piles that, if they do catch fire, they burn quite hard. This is Madam's favourite spot. She's got the shade of the pear tree and the shade of the grapevines, and anytime I can't find her, that's where she is. The strimmer did a really good job with the grass. Probably wouldn't have been able to do that with a lawnmower because there are quite a few humps and bumps, ant hills, things like that. Once the grass is cut, don't put it into small haystacks, because if there is a fire and they catch fire, they actually burn quite fiercely, and they throw up sparks which can spread the fire a lot quicker. So just let it lie. That's what the fire looks like if it's burning across that grass that's been cut. It's a very low flame, very slow moving. This one's actually moving against the wind. Even moving with the wind, it's still quite a low, slow fire, so it doesn't spread as quick. And if you're on your farm and you need to put that out, you can probably just stamp it out with your foot as you walk along, or speed it out with a shovel. Once it comes to a bare patch where the ants have cleared it, the flames will actually just die out, and they're not high enough to get up into a tree. Even a small tree, those flames will just go underneath it without setting fire to the tree. So that's why the grass has to be cut by a certain time. Once fire season starts, it's a big issue. And if you do put your grass into haystacks, this is roughly what a small stack looks like when it burns. It just throws up sparks, embers, and they'll just carry in the wind, drop down, and within a few seconds on the ground, it'll just ignite the grass. So just leave it and let the ants take it all away. Madam likes to be in everything. Come on, missus.
I'm trying to video the ants.
The ants will actually take away blades of grass, seeds. They'll just carry it all underground and leave your ground almost bare. There's another good reason not to kill your ants. Madam here, she likes to annoy the ants. She'll just plonk herself down on top of their trails and just sit there looking at them. She's got good thick fur, so they can't actually bite her. The small cat, if she lies down near them, she gets bitten. And she's very light furred. The cats absolutely love it here in Portugal. This one in particular, she's more of an indoor cat. Back in the UK, she doesn't go out at all. The little one, she likes her freedom. She was always a feral kitten, so she likes to get out and about and kill things. But they love it here. There's a bit of the footage of the fire at night, just to let you see how big that fire actually was. I was on the edge of the fire, sort of against the wind, which meant the fire wasn't coming towards me, but going with the wind, that long grass just spreads the fire so fast it's unreal. This is near Penamacor in Portugal, and that fire spread 15-20 miles in a couple of hours. Really beautiful to look at, but deadly if you're in front of it. And most of the firefighters that are actually fighting these fires are volunteers, and I found out just recently that they get paid €3.50 an hour. So in the summer, a lot of the fire stations do take donations of water, snack foods. So if you live in the area, think about donating to them.